joining me on another episode of Beat the Odds. It's Basil Kaloff. What a great weekend we have of sports coming up. Saturday, obviously, we have that Dustin Poirier taking on Conor McGregor matchup that everybody's been waiting for since their last fight. We know Conor McGregor came out with a knockout on that one. And then Sunday, we have a little NFC and AFC Championship matchups. Everybody's so excited about those because you have two greats on one end in Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady, and then two future greats in Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to be breaking down those games for you guys, giving you guys my picks. But first, I kind of want to talk about that UFC matchup we have coming up. Little interesting press conference so far between the two. They're kind of going back and forth, kind of complimenting each other, trying to promote one another's business. Dustin Poirier has invented some sort of hot sauce that Conor McGregor seems highly interested in. So when you watch their pre-fight meetings and the weigh-ins and whatnot, you can see Conor really just standing up for Dustin and kind of giving a different approach than he did last fight. The first fight he was kind of telling him, hey, I'm all in your head, this and that. But this time around, he's like, I respect him as a fighter. He's been doing great. I mean, he knocked out Max Holloway twice, or beat him twice, beat a couple other good fighters. So he's really excited for this fight. And look, I think it's a great matchup. The bookmakers have Conor McGregor coming in at a minus 300 favorite. I think that is, it's reasonable because of who Conor is and what he's done in his career so far. Being able to lay off that long of time and then come back and just put on a tremendous performance. Now, yes, he's not the same fighter he was when he came back against Daniel Cerrone. That was maybe a year or two ago. So obviously age is starting to catch up to him a little bit. But when you think about what Conor McGregor brings to the table, it's really his unorthodox style. Dustin Poirier obviously has had a lot of success in his recent fights, so I expect this to be a good fight. And a lot of the people in some of the videos I've been watching are really saying that if this fight goes past the second round, maybe into the third, fourth round, start heading into the championship rounds, that might favor Dustin Poirier just because of his stamina. His tank has been really well for him in his career, and Conor McGregor doesn't really get into a lot of those scuffles. He gets in these fights where he tends to knock a guy out in the first round, so maybe if he catches up to him, that can affect him. Who do I expect to come out victorious in this one? Obviously, Conor McGregor. It's kind of hard to bet against a guy who is coming at minus 300, who's proved people, fight in, fight out. But one thing to keep in mind is that Conor McGregor is not going to come back to UFC and choose a fight that he thinks he can't win, because that's really his legacy there. He wants to keep putting up these huge promotions, and now there's that pressure of, Khabib's going to fight whoever, impresses him, basically. So, Conor, if you want to get a good fight with Khabib in, and you want that same viewership you had, the record-breaking deals that you guys were able to get between that fight, you might want to put on a hell of a performance. Maybe try to go past the first, second round, see how that goes. But like I said, if I had to go winner, I'm going Conor McGregor. It's going to be a great card, not just the main card, but the prelims as well. Going to be a lot to talk about. And like I always say, if you guys have any questions about any of the fights or anything, feel free to contact me at BeatTheOdds365 on Twitter. And so we're all done talking to UFC. Let's go ahead and talk some NFL football. I want to start by talking about the NFC Championship that we have lined up. I think this is possibly the best matchup we could have asked for in the beginning of the year. I mean, if somebody sat me down and said, hey, give me two potential matchups that you want to see, I'm not sure how I would have felt about the whole Josh Allen situation, because nobody expects him to perform this well. But when you look at the NFC side of it, Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. I mean, that's anybody's dream. I mean, that could have been my dream 5 or 10 years ago. That's how much people have been waiting for this. Obviously, if Drew Brees was there, we would have the same excitement. But Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady, so much on the line, so much legacy to be, decided here. Obviously, Tom Brady, we already know his greatness. But if he can get past Aaron Rodgers this late into his career and just completely destroy all hopes of Super Bowl dreams for Packer fans, especially Rodgers having his best career year. I mean, can you imagine Tom Brady just goes into Lambeau Field and just outplays him and comes out victorious and heads back to Tampa Bay to play in the Super Bowl? That would be crazy. Now, in terms of odds, we do have the Bucs coming in around plus 150 right now. If you are looking to take the Bucs, this is going to be a great matchup. Both high-powered offenses. One thing I want people to keep in mind is that Packers over under team total is at 27.5. And last week, they did play the number one defense in the NFL in the Los Angeles Rams, and they ended up scoring 32 against them. And that 32, it wasn't just, like a quick 32. They really controlled the game. They really picked their parts. They did what they wanted to do, and they scored 32. So, obviously, Buccaneers do have a good offense as well. Their secondary is pretty young, but we've seen what they did against Drew Brees. I mean, who am I to say that maybe he just wasn't washed up that game, honestly. It looked like age is starting to get to him, but for the most part, their defense looked pretty solid, so I expect them to have a pretty good performance against Aaron Rodgers, but end of the day, it's Aaron Rodgers. You can throw anybody at him. He will pick you apart. He will expose your defense no matter what, and in Lambeau Field, it doesn't get any harder than that for the Bucs, so could the Packers defense hold the Buccaneers and keep this game on their momentum? It's going to be tough. Tom Brady, obviously, they're going to be without Antonio Brown, which is a huge loss. Yes, they still have Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans. Leonard Fournette played a tremendous game last week. He has been playing good in the last couple weeks, so maybe they can mix up a little bit of run game there. So I expect a high-scoring game here just because of Buccaneers didn't really allow too many points last game, and I don't expect them to hold a team like the Packers down for that long. So I expect the final score to be anywhere in favor of the Packers. I think it's going to be like a 33-25 type ball game. There's going to be high scoring. There's going to be a lot of offense. It's going to be a great football game. But like I said, I do expect the Buccaneers to come out victorious in this one. Now on the AFC side of this, we do have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. We saw what's been going on with Patrick Mahomes as of late. Dealt with that concussion against the Browns, and that was just such a strange injury because it didn't look like he hit his head hard. It almost looked like a neck nerve or something that left him unconscious. But keep in mind, prior to that, he was dealing with that really bad toe, limping around the field. So that's something to keep in mind for everybody who is looking to make some picks later on this week. Chiefs have been moving up a little bit. They were at minus 140 earlier in the week, but as the Patrick Mahomes news got better and better, it did go up. Now you're looking at them at minus 175, somewhere around that range. So I think that's a great deal, believe it or not. I know there's a lot of people big on the Bills. I understand Josh Allen's having a tremendous year, and then obviously you got Stephon Diggs. The run game has been a little shaky. I did get on that run game earlier in my previous videos. I don't think they're that good, and their defense, it's mediocre. It's middle of the pack. They don't really hold the run game very well, so look for Kansas City maybe to try to expose that. It should be a great football game. Two high-powered offense, and that's what I love about it. It's two young quarterbacks trying to show the rest of the NFL that they're next. They're here to take out one of those spots by those guys in the NFC, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. So it should be a great game. I do expect the Kansas City Chiefs to come out victorious. I just think there's way too much firepower in Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes, and the list goes on and on. Now, I just don't want to sound like a casual thinking, you know what, I'm going to brush the Bills off, but that's really what I have to do here. I think the Chiefs have been in much tougher positions than this. I mean, last 26 starts by Patrick Mahomes, or I think it is 25 actually, there are 24-1. I mean, take that, if you're really considering Bills or Chiefs, just look at that statistic alone. And they went through a lot of better teams than this Buffalo Bills team. I mean, they faced the 49ers last year in the Super Bowl, who had one of the best defenses we've seen as of late. So could they hang in there and beat this Bills team? Yes, I definitely think they'll be okay. It is expected to rain in Kansas City that day, so I do expect a little bit of a running game from both quarterbacks. So we know Josh Allen is very much capable of that. It's just the question is, will Patrick Mahomes have the health to do that? So I do expect a really great football game, a back and forth. If I had to go with a prediction on the final score, I'm saying 35-21 Kansas City Chiefs. Best of luck to everybody betting this week. Again, don't forget to contact me on Beat the Odds 365 on Twitter. We have we just reached our 70 win mark recently, so I'm proud to announce that. A lot more videos coming in later this week. Enjoy UFC, enjoy NFL. Contact me if you need anything, and I hope you guys enjoyed this fabulous weekend, guys. Take care.